Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this live stream event. My name is Alexia, and I am the project and event manager of the Microsoft Reactor Toronto. I'll be sharing session resources with you in the chat. But before we begin, I'd like to quickly review two items, our code of conduct and event guidelines. First, please take a moment to review our code of conduct. Microsoft Reactor seeks to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We do encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. And secondly, our event guidelines. This session is being recorded and will be available on demand through the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I'll be sharing the link in the chat for our YouTube channel. And if you have not been on a live stream through YouTube before, please note that you must create an account on YouTube in order to access and interact in the chat. You can set that up now, and if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, feel free to reach out to us through social media or on Meetup. Which brings us to today's session. I'm going to bring in our speaker for today, Bruno. Hi, Bruno.
Hey, Alexia. Hello, everyone.
Great. We are back after a few weeks of summer break, a little bit, but super excited for today's session. Take it away.
Okay, thanks a lot. So let me switch to my screen. There it is. And hey, hello, everyone. So just said, my name is Bruno Capuano. I'm a cloud advocate focused on helping communities and the Toronto Reactor, work for Microsoft. And I'm super happy today because I am going to talk a little about IoT, more about low-code and no-code solutions, how we can work and do this kind of stuff. And I am really, really happy because this is a hot topic right now, and we have so many amazing capabilities here. So as I said, Bruno Capuano, cloud advocate. I'm in my white Latin person in my 40s. In my office today, I have a lot of devices in my bag. I am going to use them for my demos. But before we start, let's do a quick recap of what are we going to see today. So I am going to show very quickly how I created a full Azure IoT solution using a Wheel terminal, a device from CD Studio, to feed my squirrels. I know, that sounds like a joke, but this is what I am going to use. Then, because these feeders is sending data, sending telemetry to the Azure IoT Hub, to the cloud all the time, I am going to use Azure Logic Apps to work, to manage those telemetry. So I'm going to show examples of how we are going to parse and work with JSON objects. I'm going to show how we can save this telemetry, send it by email, send it to a database, a couple of scenarios, and again, squirrels everywhere. So that's kind of the idea. And again, usually before I start, sorry about the demo, sorry about the bad jokes. This is going to be kind of a fun session, so I hope that you enjoy it. So let's start. And let's start with why did I create a squirrel feeder? So 1 year ago, a little over 1 year ago, we moved to a new house here in Canada, and in the countryside, I have a lot of green, a lot of mountains in the back of my house. So I started to have literally a lot of squirrels coming to my backyard. So I started to feed them. And hey, this is Canada. So the squirrels, they don't care if it's raining, if it's snowing. They will come, and you see here in a small video that they are going to dig in the snow to try to find some nuts, to try to find their food. So that was super fun. So I decided to build them a feeder. So I went there, get a very cheap, good bird feeder, fill the feeder with nuts and almonds and walnuts and whatever else I have here, put it on top of the little table, and there you can see how the squirrels start to come to my house and start to eat every day, plenty of times during the day. But because I am a techie person, I decided to take this as a challenge to say, hey, how can I build a squirrel detector? What can I do with technology here? So my first idea was very simple. I am going to pick up a device. In this case, I am going to use a Wheel terminal. Wheel terminal is an amazing device from CD Studio. It's an Arduino-based device. It's very small here. You can see I have it in my hand here. It's like a it's a very small device, but it has a lot of cool features. I use this, you can see there in a video, to open and close a remote Azure IoT door that I created. And I like it because it has a screen, very small screen. I think the resolution is 320 and 240, but it also has wireless capabilities, so you can connect to a wireless network. You have Bluetooth capabilities. There is a reader for an SD card, and you have 3 buttons on top. You have 3 buttons that you can control, a small joystick in front that you can use it as a joystick, and also the plug in the bottom so you can connect in different sensors. So, hey, I really, really like it as a device. So I say, okay, I'm going to try to use this instead of a more powerful device. And my idea for the squirrel detector was I am going to, on top of the feeder that I have right now, where I have my little table and the feeder on top, I am going to add some sensors. So I will try to detect every time that I have a squirrel or another animal coming to get some food, and I am going to send a signal to the cloud. Every time that I have someone getting for food, I am going to send a signal to the cloud. With that said, I started to work how I can do this. So, by the way, I did a lot of sessions around this. I am not going to show code today about how we do this, but if you want to know more, I did, and I have a lot of improvement here where I explain how using C++ you can program the Wio terminal to do this. So my first challenge was, okay, let's show something on the screen. So I created this small in progress windows, and when a squirrel was detected, I will change the icon and say, hey, I have a squirrel detector. To detect that someone or something is getting close to the feeder, I'm going to use a proximity detector, an ultrasonic range detector, the one that you can see here in the right. And basically, this is a sensor. This is a range sensor that when you get close, I will program, okay, something is detected at 10 centimeter, 5 centimeter, or less, 2 inches. So what is going to send the signal to the screen, change for the squirrel detector. With all of this, I am going to start to test it. So because I cannot test this outside, I get this super creepy and funny squirrel, stuffed squirrel here. So this is the one that I use here, and you can see here in the recording that, hey, this is the one that I get, and when it gets close to the detector, it's going to mark this. And the final step is going to be, I'm going to use an ultrasonic sensor to detect if something is close to the feeder, and then I'm going to use a servo motor. And I created this in the feeder, a funnel, with a lid on the bottom. So when you press a button or send something, a signal is going to open and close, and the food is going to be there. With all of this, I have the project full up and running. It's going to be also connected to an Azure IoT Hub. So when the squirrel gets close, it's going to be marked as detected. And if I am starting to check the telemetry on Azure IoT, we are going to see that they start to get message that, hey, we detected the feeder state is going to be open or closed. Have everything there. I write a couple of tutorials. I write a couple of, you want to build it, I have a couple of, I'm going to share the links later about how you can do this. We also have an amazing tutorial, an IoT for beginners, where you can build the full Azure IoT solution using a Raspberry Pi, using a Wio terminal, or even using a simulator. If you don't have a device, you can use an emulator, for the device. So, hey, you have everything there. My next challenge was, hey, you know what? When I leave this outside, I realized that I was having a lot of animals coming to get food, not only squirrels. I have raccoons, I have little birds, I have plenty of animals. Remember, I live in the countryside of Canada, so there is a lot of stuff here. So I also create a module on top with a camera to detect who is there. And hey, that was super cool. I have a lot of info, and I have the feeder working right now. So in order to, I am going to show how this works. And in order to show how this works, what I am going to do, I am going to open a camera that I have here in my back. I have a mobile phone with a camera. It should open, probably turn off. So let me turn on the camera. Yes, it's disconnected. So let's turn it on. There it is. You're going to see me moving back and forward a little today. So that's the camera with the feeder there, wires and everything. You know this. And the main thing here is that, remember, need to be connected to the internet. So I am going to open my settings and use my computer as a hub. Let's go to network and internet, mobile hotspot. I'm going to turn this on. I hope I didn't lose connection, so I don't have anything connected to my computer right now. And when I turn on the feeder, it's going to be shown as a connector. So let's take a look here. So I turn it on. It's going to take some time to connect. Remember that this is an Arduino device. Here it is connected. So I have my IP address. I have the MAC of the device. There it is. And hey, I can start to use my Squirrel to simulate that there is something close there. So let's do this. So there it is. It's open. It's going to close in a couple of seconds. And hey, in order to show how this really works, every time that the lead and the animal is detected, is sending a signal to the cloud. So I can go to the Azure IoT Hub where I have this device connected. I can go to check the telemetry. I am using a product which is called Azure IoT Explorer here, and I'm going to start to check the telemetry. So the idea here is that when the squirrel gets close to the feeder and the feeder detects there is an animal there, I don't have the camera parts here working. It's always going to detect the squirrel, but it's going to send a message to the IoT saying, I open the feeder or I close the feeder, and this is how far I detect the animal. So let's test this. Here it is. Make it close. It's open there. And after a couple of seconds, it's going to close, and we are going to see the events coming here in the hub. So basically, this is the message that I have here. It's a JSON message, super simple. Animal detected, kind of an action. Animal, squirrel, remember, right now it's hard-coded. Don't do this at home. Please do not hard-code here. I didn't enable the camera module here. And then I have how many times this is being opened, the feed counter, and the feeder state is 1 for open, and it was detected at 7 centimeters. There are more messages here. Next one is going to be kind of same action, animal detected, squirrel, and the feeder state is going to be closed, 0 for closed. So that's it. You get the idea. So I have everything here. So I leave this outside, and it literally have a lot of animals coming to get food, and I have a lot of time. I have a lot of fun, and I have a lot of data. So this is the moment where I start to figure out, okay, how can I work with this data? So if I go back here, this is the moment where I start to figure out how can I process my telemetry? What are the options that I have here? And there are several ways to do this. So the first step, the usual, the most popular way to do this is connect to Azure IoT Telemetry to an Event Hub. Event Hub is another service that we have in Azure. It's a popular and super amazing service that will open basically a set of connectors, a set of destinations that we can do this. And I am a developer, so the way that I used to do this and the way that I work with this in other scenarios is I create an Azure function. So I receive this JSON message from my function and I do something there. But I want to give this a try to something different. I want to enable the Event Hub and connect to a Logic App. And a Logic App is a no-code scenario. It's a low-code, no-code tool that is going to allow me to process that message, that telemetry message, without any type of coding. It's going to be everything automatically. And then from there, I can do plenty of stuff. So let's start something simple like saving a text file or sending an email. So let's do this one. Sorry. Let me switch back to my PowerPoint here. So let's do this. Let's see how we can use the telemetry here. So let's minimize this. I am going to go to the portal. This is my Azure portal. This is my Azure stuff. This is my Azure IoT Hub. And here, if I go to devices, we can see that I have in IoT Edge, I will have my Wii feeder. with a Squirrel feeder. So it has two modules, and literally doesn't have anything because it's an Arduino device, but there it is. But then this is the important part. This is the one that is going to allow me to make connection and do more stuff. Let's go to click events. And what are we going to do here? So let's go to get started. If you never connect anything here, this is what you are going to see. That by default, using the event grid, sorry, it was event grid, not event hub. Oh my God, sorry, I get mistaken the name of the connector between the Azure IoT and the third party and the other services to manage information. So the event grid is the one that we are going to support these handlers to manage the events, and I have access here to Logic Apps. So if I want to do something without code, I can use Logic App. I can create my function. Or if I need to store the message without writing any lines of code and store this in a queue, I can use this directly, and there are plenty more. So let's create a Logic App. Let's go for Logic Apps. This is going to open a designer. This is a canvas where I can start to define the step that I want to do. And the first step that I need to do, I need to define what I want to handle, what I want to work. So here I have my subscription, and then I need to choose which is the type of resource that I'm going to use. In this case, for me, it's going to be IoT hubs. And this is important. I am going to basically subscribe to events from IoT Hub. And when I have this, I can choose a set of events that I have. And you can see here that I have events every time that the device is connected, or is created, or is deleted, or is get disconnected, or the one that we want to use every time that I have telemetry coming from a device. So with this option, that's it. I am going to add a new step. And this is the moment, this is the part that it becomes super, super helpful, because I can do plenty of activities. I can send the message by email. I can save the message to a storage. I can save the message to a database, to a Cosmos DB, to a MongoDB. I can start to do some logic. So if the message has for a squirrel or a bird or the raccoon, do A, B, or C. There are plenty of things. Let's start with the very simple one, which is going to, let's send an email to an email account. So let me go here, choose my send email, and as you expect, this is going to be a very simple email form where I'm going to have a destination address, sample subject, and a body, and then the importance. That's it. So let me pick up one of my test accounts that I have here. Sorry about this. I copied this before, but somehow I lost it. So there it is. This is the one that I want. So I'm going to send this email to a demo account that I have. Okay, let me open the notepad and paste this simple format. Come on, notepad, where are you? Okay, my Explorer is the Explorer process is not working, so let me go here and from this one here. So where I add here in Designer, so I am going to use this address, so paste and plain text, subject, message from Azure IoT have here. Is not working. I don't know what's happening here. And in the body of the email, I am going to basically, sorry about this, that window there. And in the body of the email, I'm going to press to have the full body. So that's it. It's going to send an email with the full body of the message to the destination address. Let's define a name here. I'm going to say Reactor. What's happening with my keyboard? Sorry about that. Windows is being Windows today. Start the new Explorer process. See if this fixes. Okay. Not yet. Okay. Literally can type here. So let's do labs. I cannot delete also. Explorer is starting. I should be back soon. There it is. Welcome back. Let's delete this one. Not yet. Sorry about that. This is Windows being Windows. Tabs. And I need to change to English Canada. So there it is. Okay. So let's do this labs RIA and let's create the Logic app. Sorry about this, but the keyword is not working. It's taking some time to Windows to restart the Explorer process. So it's saving, it's creating the resource here. We are going to see that's going to take a couple of seconds, probably take a minute. There it is, the resource is created. So I have the resource available for me. And at this moment, I can go back and I can start to test it. I can start to see if every time that I have a new message is going to get, we are going to have a new email sent to that direction. So let me open here a new private window. Let's go for outlook.com and let's navigate to, here it is, signing. So let's open this account. Get all of the letters. No, this is going to be tricky. Okay. Yes, sign in. So I am here. This is the sample account. And right now, if this is working and should be working, I should get access to, oh, sorry, it should be already saved here. So let's go here to event subscriptions. Let me open my resource grid. See more. There it is. This is the Logic app that we have created. It has not run. So I'm going to trigger one of the activity from the Squirrel labs, and we should get one run here. It takes some time the first time to do something. So first time it's basically succeed. So let's trigger one more to see how it works. So I trigger one activity. We should get the events here in the hub anytime soon. And after, there it is. So we have the event in the hub. There it is. And after a couple of seconds, we should get a run here. And remember, the first time is going to take some time because it needs to basically connect all of the dots and it needs to warm everything, set everything working. So there it is. This is the one that we just triggered. So take a look. It was kind of super, super fast. And I can click on the history, take a look at one of them and see that, hey, this is what's happening when the event occurs. So this is what I have here. This is the body of the event, of the stuff that I have. I need to copy this. It's going to be useful later. Let's do this and let's hope my keyboard is working. And then the next step is send an email. So to this address. So if I go back to my mail from Adele, I have here my email with the full JSON with this. So, hey, this is fine. This is kind of a super fun and amazing way to do this. But if we are really going to work with this, we need to do a couple of other activities. We need to parse this. We need to do more. So let's do something here. Let's add an action here. So I receive a full JSON, message from IoT Hub. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to choose, I have here an activity which will allows me to parse this JSON message. So from the content, I am going to select again, the body that I have here, and I need to provide a schema. The schema is the place that is going to allows me to basically define how this JSON message is formatted, how is the schema for this. I don't have the schema here, but I can use paste. Oh, it's not copy and paste. This is going to be a problem. 1 second. So let me go here, try to see again the message, and let's figure out how to copy it, because somehow my keyword is not working. Not happy about that. So let's go for this one. Let's open the first one, and let's pick up here from the output. Control-C. And here, no. Why my keyword copy is not working? Okay, I will try to copy from the email. That wasn't my initial idea, but should be fine. There it is. We have the schema, so let's go back here. So paste. It's literally not working. So Shift and let me do something. I will close the Explorer and open it again. Double check if I have access to have it in my keyboard, in my clipboard. Okay, so sorry, I don't know what's happening with my keyboard today. Super crappy. Azure.com. In this, here I am, go to the description and go to the designer, add a new step, add an action, set for parts JSON, this, and the content that I'm going to use, the body, came from the, and then here. So it's something with Explorer and content here. So let me go to plan B. I didn't plan to do this. Let's see if it works. Try to open. Okay, one last time. The final one will be close the power toys. No problem. I cannot parse here. Somehow I lost access to my keyboard. What I am going to do, I am going to open another one that I have with all of the sample already closed, and let's review how that one works. So let's go back here to my dashboard, and let's open this one. So what I am going to do now, what I am going to do in this one, I am going to, basically the first step is going to to process the JSON, to work with the schema and have an object here. When I use the original message and I save the message here, and I get the schema, it's going to allow me to work not with the full JSON, but with the message, with the parts inside the JSON. So right now, what I am going to have, I'm going to have access to a property like ID, to a property like the topic, to a property like the subject, to the event type. And the important one here, let me show here, let you know what it is that inside the telemetry, we have the body, and I will access to my ID, to my topic, to my subject, to my event type, to data, and all of the stuff. But the body is it's saved in base 64. So what I am going to need to do here is in the next step, I am going to parse the JSON from the body. So I have this information, and then in the next step, I am going to decode the body from base 64. What I am going to use here, remember that I show you, once I define the schema, I have access to all of these elements here. Body, properties, data, body, IoT connection, out generation ID, IoT connection, out methods. All of this info came from the original method that I have here. And I have a function, I have a specific expression here, which is the code base 64. There it is. Code base 64 that is going to allow me to basically pick up a message and decode the message. Once I have my message decoded, I will have a second JSON file that is going to allow me to basically send it's going to allow me to, let me delete this, to get those infos to be sent, to be processed. So here I have the decode 54, and let's do something. Let's send this in email so we can take a look at what is the final JSON that I have. So let's go back here. And again, sorry about this for the problems. Let me copy again the address. So paste and text, there it is, and new JSON message. And in the body of the email, let's add, this is the information that I can have right now. So when I work with the JSON file, I can have access to what is the action, what is the animal, feed count, feeder start, and range detected. If you remember, this is the same information that I have here. So this is the body that I have here. And hey, I can send this and work with this via email. So I can add here in the body of the email something like action. Really hate that this is not working. Animal. Count. I don't have this letter C. I don't know what's happening with my keyboard. Feed count. Feeder state. And range detected. There it is. So it's going to send an email with all of this information. Let's save this. It's going to take some time. It's already saved there. And in the run section, let's take a look what is happening. The last one failed. I am saving this to show you how you can check what is failing. But let's trigger one more. Okay, just trigger one. If we go here, we should get right now, yes, this is the time. I started to get emails. I started to listen this. So refresh, I should get 2 succeeds. And if we take a look at the step-by-step, we are going to see here when we parse the body to the original JSON to the body, we have all of this that we now understand. And we can decode this from base 64. So this is the input, this is the output. And then I have here, when I parse this from the JSON, I have a much more clean JSON information to do. And the send email is going to have in the body action, animal detector. Again, sorry, I lost my C, the letter C in my keyboard, animal, feed count, feeder state, and more. So with all of this, if I go back to the test email account that I have, this one, I should get new emails. There it is, and I have, this is the email that I sent. And remember, I literally don't I literally didn't add any code here, just a couple of activities to parse, to work with the JSON. Everything else is already here. So this is a super simple scenario where I show how you can do this. If I want, I can even do more. I can even, I don't know, I can go here in this one, edit this, and hey, if I want to save each one of the logs coming from Azure IoT to a OneDrive folder, I can go to OneDrive, I can create a new file there, and it's going to ask me, okay, where is this OneDrive? It's going to be in the structure. If you have folders, let's choose a folder for the structure, let's choose a file name, and even a file content, which is probably going to be the body that we have. So there are plenty of other scenarios to do. But this is the moment where we already sent an email, we already work with this. Sorry about the keywords issue. I will try to keep this simple because I don't have my full keyboard here. But let's move to the next scenario, which is basically, what can we do? What can we do if we want to work with SQL Server, with Azure SQL Server? So let's imagine that we have telemetry coming from Azure IoT device, and we are going to use a Logic app, and we want to save this telemetry in SQL Server. How we are going to do this? So you probably have this idea. It's going to be literally similar with what we just did. And again, this is not Event Hub, this is Event Grid. Sorry about that. Event Grid. So we are going to do this, but there are a couple of more other things that we need to do here. So let me show you how we can do this. So here in Azure, I created a SQL Server database. I have an Azure database. And let's go to the database. There it is. It's called Squirrel Feeder. Let me clean the subscriptions. And let's open. Oh, I am not going to be able to. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can paste the password here. There it is. So what I am going to do, I am going to create a new table. Let me go back here and create a new table to store this information. Copy, paste. So I'm going to create a new table. This is going to be named feeder logs new. So we know that we are going to use this for the demo. I'm sorry again about this. I was planning to write everything from scratch. No access to the keyboard, so it's going to be tricky. And I'm going to have an auto increment log ID, super simple, 4 fields, action, animal, feeder state, and range to track this information, and then a date time field, which is going to be by default save the date. So super simple table, super simple scenario. There it is. We have the table here. If I open the table, there are 2 of these, and let's see if I can do new query. Select. Oh, I don't have the C letter. Okay, I will try to get my select here somehow. Let me show later how we can do. So I am going to do this select top 10. Okay, there it is. If I run this, I don't have any rows there. That's fine. So let's save every time that we have a log from the device. Let's save 1 row here. How we are going to do this? Let's remove this one. We don't need the email. That's fine. And let's go for a new step, and let's choose SQL Server. And what we can do with SQL Server? We can delete a row, we can execute a query, call a store procedure. We can do plenty of stuff that are very close to SQL Server. I am going to go for the insert row. So let's insert a row here. And then it's going to ask me a couple of questions. What is the server name? What is the database names? And what is the table name? I already connect to my Azure instance, my SQL Server, so it's going to be pick up here from the connection stream. The same with the database. The first time that you are doing this is going to ask you to complete this information, which is basically your connection stream. If you are going, I am using here SQL Server users to authenticate. If you have Azure AV Active Directory, you can use Azure Active Directory. For this one, it's going to be super simple. And then in the table name, I am going to take a look here. I have two. I have my feeder logs and logs new. So I'm going to go for logs new. Once I have this, it's going to ask me because it's going to get the schema from the table. It's going to analyze the table and get, okay, this table has 4 fields, 5, 6 fields, columns, action, animal, feeder, blah, blah, blah. And hey, let's add action into action, animal into animal, feeder state, should be somewhere here, feeder state, and range detected, to be range detected, and that's it. I'm going to save this, it's going to save the Logic app, and every time that we have a new... Oh, Leandro has a super cool question. How is it going to be charged for using this Logic app functionality? Let me finish this, and I will show you how when you create a Logic app here, it's basically here in the overview. When you create a Logic apps, you can define I don't have full access here, but it's going to be charged based on your subscription. I'm going to show you later, if you create one from scratch, how you can define the model that you want to use. In this case, it's basically for consumption. It's a serverless scenario, so it's going to be run every time that you use it. But there are a couple of tweaks there. So I have it here, up and running, trying to save into SQL Server. Let's run this again. No message here. Let's trigger one. There it is. Just trigger one. You can let me trigger another one so you can take a look. That is really working. So let's go here. Let's clear the events. There it is. We can start to see events there. We have plenty of events here, so we have a lot of stuff. And if I go back to the portal and I run the query, hey, there it is, saving information directly to SQL Server with the animal detected, the action, and everything else. We have everything here. So at this moment, right now, if I go back to my dashboard, I will see that I have two Logic apps up and running. The original that I created that I couldn't finish because I am running out of keywords. So if I have here this one, I am going to go to labs, the one that I created for this, and I'm going to disable this. So it's going to disable the Logic app. It's not going to run anymore. What's happened? As Leandro asked, if I want to create a new one. If I want to create, let me see, Logic apps. So I have here the Logic app, B2B, and the one that I have, and this is the plan that I have. When I create the Logic app, I can choose for the plan, and you can take a look here how how is going to be charged. So I am going to create the Logic app, and yes, let's pick up my resource group, no workspace. Oh, I don't have a workspace. I need to create one. It's going to say that, hey, I need to create a workspace, but I don't have any workspace available here to create. But this is another one. This is a Logic app. Let me see if I can create an Azure Logic app. I don't have the C, and this is going to be a tricky, not also having. And tried to create a new one, but long story short, sure. Oh, sorry about that. If you search for Azure Logic App, and again, so sorry, I know that Alexia does share a module where we can see how you can create the stuff from scratch, how you can start with this. You will see the pricing model for Logic Apps. I literally cannot use my keyboard to find for this. So sorry, I promise to write about this, but this is super, super cheap. It's not very expensive. And you can think about this very similar to very similar to the Azure functions, where you can basically pay per use. 1 second. Sorry, I have my puppy playing with the bone in my door right now. There is a lot of background noise. I hope you don't have this. But hey, this is kind of idea. Triggering events. Sorry about the issues with the keyboard. Triggering events, connecting a very simple way. In the next scenarios, in the next sections, I am going to show an example. Hey, if I detect an example Squirrel, save to a SQL database and also send an email. But if I detect, I don't know, I detect an eagle or something like this, why not use, send me an SMS? Because I have here a third-party component, like example Twilio, and I can say, okay, you know what? Send the text message, and I can send the text message. And in order to do this, instead of doing this, let's add here a condition. I'm not going to be able to write conditions. So let's go for all, and let's try to figure out somewhere here is my control activity. So I have a condition, and I say, in example, that if the animal is equal to eagle, on true, add an action, send an SMS, because I want to take a look at the photo here. So I need to define my connection name, I need to do a couple of things, but every time that I see an eagle, and an eagle is feeding in my backyard, I want to have a photo of this so I can send an SMS and even save the photo here. And yes, Leandro, I literally didn't even know how much you need the letter C to work here. My keyboard is crazy today, really. I'm not sure what is happening. I hope it's getting fixed right now. So thanks for being patient there. I'm sorry about that. Promise to do this again, maybe with a better one. So just to close, if you have any questions, I will be happy to read the questions in the comments and try to help. And let's do a little recap. I show how we can create, how I created the feeder with the Wheel terminal and Azure IoT. Super fun, super amazing. And then I show very quickly how you can create a Logic app, literally no code, to process the telemetry and send an email, save to Azure, save to a file, or I didn't make it today, but even send an SMS. So that's something that we can do. Here you can take a look at more other resources. If you want to build your own Squirrel feeder, I have here my repo where that I use to I explain the step-by-step in order to do this. That's basically it. I will ask you to also if you have a couple of seconds, Alexia just share the link to a survey, aka.ms/reactor/survey, where you can basically give us feedback, what else you want to do, what other topics you want to do, what we can do better, how we can improve. We love to hear your feedback. So that's basically it. And hey, thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Let me hide this one. It was a pleasure. I will try to next one have a backup keyboard. I have backup for everything, but not for the keyboard. And see you in next one. This is the stream. See you in next one. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, and more. Goodbye.